we are the #1 oil export in this country. 3.5 to 4 million barrels of oil per day.
The first such Indian to hold the coveted position of Port Commissioner of Corpus Cristi. I'm joined by Mr. Rajan Ahuja. Challenges here in America as well, last 45 years or so.
I worked at a grocery store in New Orleans, Kmart, in the milk stocking department of Albertsons, the waiter, room service guy.
How difficult or easy it was during the 80s and 90s when you began, and now in 2024, 40 years later.
The regulations have gotten very strict.
Sangam and meditate or sit on the corner of this port city of Corpus Cristi. Your first choice.
Sangam. I need to go back and visit Sangam and sit there for a few days and take that blessing into my soul.
Like Port Commissioner Rajan Ahuja, follow more such inspirational stories of valor, grit and determination with Rohan Dua on the New Indian. As I sit around this 54 feet deep channel, the water channel where barges and vessels behind me carrying oil, petroleum and similar products travel on Corpus Cristi, the port city of oil-rich Texas in the southern part of the United States. I am joined by this beautiful, handsome-looking, dapper-looking Indian who traveled way from Allahabad at the young age of 18 to study at the Louisiana State University, Petroleum Engineering. There's been no looking back since last 40 years or more so, now that he has gone on to become the first such Indian to hold the coveted position of Port Commissioner of Corpus Cristi. To understand how he did this and what he means to become a successful Indian in the US, as a citizen of the US and as a prominent Indian American, I'm joined by Mr. Rajan Ahuja. Welcome to the show, Mr. Rajan. I mean, of course, it's a pleasure having you in this show on India Abroad for multiple reasons. First of all, many congratulations to you for what you have done for our country, from Prayagraj, the state of Uttar Pradesh, the city, holy city of Sangam, to come similar to these water areas of the Corpus Cristi area of United States. I want to understand from you, how did this happen to you? Why did you choose petroleum engineering 45 years back?
Thank you, Rohan. Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be talking to you. And of course, it's great to meet you finally. And thanks for taking the time out from your busy schedule. I've been very fortunate in my life. Of course, everybody works hard. We all have come one way or another as immigrant from India. I came 45 years ago at the age of 18. And just started going to college. Engineering was always my dream. This is 1979, 1980, 81. Oil field was hot. The jobs were great and plentiful, paying well to the new graduates. So my dream was to become a mechanical engineer. But within 2 years, I switched to petroleum engineering.
Right.
And I'm getting a bachelor's degree.
Right.
And then I worked for about 6 months, and then I needed to get more educated, and I went back and got a master's degree in petroleum engineering.
Which was also from Louisiana?
Also from Louisiana State University.
Right.
And since then, I've been fortunate again to have found the first job back in the mid-'80s when the oil field was down. And, through hard work and through a lot of luck and through persistence, most of the immigrants like myself have made it in USA, and I'm happen to be one of them. So thanks for again having me.
Right. Of course, I mean, when I look back at your career, it's not momentous. It's not an easy thing to scale this momentous feat which you have done. Also chronicle a journey of your own against the adversities. But I believe when you came here, of course, things may not have been that bright in Uttar Pradesh. So what were the challenges, the adversities that you faced all those 18 years in UP, and then the challenges here in America as well, last 45 years or so?
So challenges in UP where we were a middle-class family. Papaji worked, Mataji stayed home. I'm the last of 8 children. So, the rupees didn't go very far, but we had a great life, great discipline in the house, education first, family first, just like most of us do. And so there, other than those financial challenges, I don't think of any other challenges. Had plentiful friends, plentiful neighbors, and we were all had a time of our life. So once you leave here, once you come here at that young age, you look forward. You always look forward to
Right.
what does tomorrow bring.
Right.
So, through small jobs in grocery stores and department stores and libraries, you worked pretty much every day of the week, and you went to school every day of the week, and you made it happen. And it happened to me, and it happened to a bunch of us. And I just
So where all did you work?
I worked at a grocery store in New Orleans. I worked at a Kmart. I worked at chemistry library. I worked in the milk stocking department of Albertsons. I worked as a waiter. I worked as a room service guy. So all of those jobs paid decent enough to put me through the college.
Right.
So it's been it was of course a challenge. You don't look forward to doing, but the ultimate goal of getting a degree, getting a job, and then excelling in your job, we were able to accomplish that.
Right. As I see the beautiful vessels now ferrying in this ocean waters that I believe is Gulf of Mexico. That is what it's called.
Correct.
Of course, the lovely vehicles which are moving in here right now.
Right.
I want to ask you a significant question. What are your roles and responsibilities as a port commissioner? What is it that you have done here? I believe that this is your second term, which of course is not a small feat either. You were first nominated as 2021, and then again in 24 for another 3 year term, a 6 year term. A phenomenal, enormous success that you have brought to yourself. So, what are your roles and challenges, responsibilities that you fulfill here?
So as a commissioner, which is so for we look towards the path that the port is going, and the path it has been into, learn from history, and make sure that we have a strategic plan. We make sure that our finances are on the right path, and just the CEO and his team, his staff, which is we have about 265 people in the staff. They do all the work, and we're basically policymakers, and look forward to a future as to what to bring
what are
here.
the key changes that you have brought? I believe that I see 2 bridges here. Are these also part of your roles and responsibilities as port commissioner as well?
So part of it is the bridge behind me. It was built in 1959.
Boy.
And about 6-7 years ago, the state of Texas, after us pushing so hard for 10 years, agreed to fund the building of this new bridge. At that time,
the one behind me?
The one behind me. It's a single cable bridge.
Wow.
With a long span. The bottom of the new bridge is as high as the top of the old bridge.
Right.
So the port's role, it was to make it happen. We have worked with the TxDOT, we call it Texas Department of Transportation, to do whatever we can to support their efforts.
Right.
And this will be done by summer of 2025, but when we will switch all our traffic over to the new bridge.
Right. So you mean to say, I mean, this bridge is definitely going to be bigger in terms of the height
Yes.
than this one?
Yes, it is. The bottom of the new bridge is as high as the top of the old bridge.
Oh, bottom of this bridge, newer bridge, is almost at the top of this bridge.
Yes.
Okay, so it's definitely taller than these.
Yes, and what that would do is that would allow us to bring bigger ships into the port. So when they load with product, they can load more.
Right. So I want to understand from you, Mr. Ahuja, that what does this port do actually? I see these vehicles. What are these vessels called?
So the one going in front of you is called a barge.
It's called barge.
It's being pushed by a tugboat. The barges usually don't have their own power, so
Right.
they need to be manually pushed.
Right.
We get big oil tankers through here.
Right.
These kind of barges move chemicals and other things that come from the 6 refineries we have down.
We have
down
6
this
refineries in
pathway.
Corpus Christi.
Correct. There
Right.
are 2 owned by Valero, 2 by Citgo, and 2 by Flint Hills.
Right.
And they both have east and west
Right.
refineries.
Right.
And then along with that, behind you, we have those white tanks. They hold 4 million barrels of crude oil. So when the ships come to the dock, they get loaded with the crude oil that is not usable in America and is sent all over the world.
Right. Of course, when I look at the activities here, I believe there's a lot of trade also which is happening. So, which are the countries that the people here who ferry their products, whether it is oil, petroleum, petrochemical products, and so on, where do they transport this?
So it really goes all over the world, but a lot to Europe through Rotterdam, Port of
Right.
Rotterdam, which is our sister port,
Right.
and then to I believe to India and to
Wow, to India as
Eastern
well.
countries. Yes, to India as well.
Right. So,
Yes,
what goes to India? What reaches India from here? Corpus
I
Christi.
don't know which regions, but it goes to India. I know that. And then
Right.
the other thing we haven't talked about, Rohan, is uh, we are the number one oil export port in this country. This country sends out about 3.5 to 4 million barrels of oil per day
Wow.
exports, and our daily volume ranges from 2.2 to 2.8 million. So we have about
2.2 to 2.8
million
billion.
barrels per day.
That's
So
huge.
that's about 65% of American market that gets shipped out from our port right here. And then along
Wow.
with that, liquefied natural gas, which is LNG,
Right.
which is produced by a company called Cheniere.
Right.
Their number one export comes out of Louisiana, but number two LNG export port is Corpus Christi. They're not too far from here. Is their plant where
Right.
LNG is
But like you said, I mean,
made and shipped.
2.5 to 2.8 billion barrels per day. It's not a small amount.
No,
That's
it's
almost
huge.
65% of what America produces, the oil.
No. That's 65% of what America sends out.
America sends out.
Right.
Production
America
is, of course,
produces about 13 million barrels a day.
30.
Yeah,
Of course, I mean, the figures that you have said are no less by any yardstick. I mean, that's a huge amount,
it's a huge
65%
yes.
export. If it's taking place through Texas, this particular
This
port,
particular port.
of which you are the port commissioner, it's a bigger challenge to sort of look at your own responsibilities and the role that you have here. Uh, I want to understand from you that, so what are the ways? I mean, I see that when I was moving around with you in this building, I saw a lot of beautiful areas inside your office as well. I saw a cafe, I saw a ballroom, some events happening. I also saw even a single terminal where someone was sitting inside it like a pod and working on the laptop, and in silos. I saw your lounge as well. Looks like a plush, luxurious, spanking office that you have here
Yeah,
to
as you
yourself.
know, as you well know, a culture in a company or organization is very important.
Right,
We want to retain people that we train,
right,
and the more we retain, the better off we do. And
correct,
the less turnover we have, the better we can perform. So
correct.
our goal always is to take care of employees. And what you haven't seen yet is an exercise room, and we have a mental health professional come here. We have a
Right.
yoga room here. So we think that, as everybody says, people are your best assets, and we treat them that way.
Right. So, what I missed asking you in this particular question was the fact that what are your sources of revenue for this port? I mean, of course, see uh, a lot of cargo ships may be going through, of course, this area on an everyday basis. But is that the only way that they pay you certain amount of a fee, or is there more ways to earn the revenue as well?
So there are many revenue streams. We have multiple, like 10 or 12 of them. The biggest one are wharfage. So when a ship comes and it docks at a dock, the water belongs to the port because we maintain it.
Right.
And if the dock belongs to the refinery, then they pay us for the water only.
And how much is it usually? It's on the website.
It's a certain amount per unit, whatever that might be. I don't know what
Right.
that is. And
So
then
docking.
if the dock is ours and the water is ours, then the fee is twice as much.
Right.
And the third big source of revenue is we own a lot of land around this port. We own about 31,000 acres.
Boy, that's
And
huge.
certain companies come and lease it for 50 years. So we make money from leasing land to customers.
Right.
And then there's many other smaller ways. Like, so
Uh,
we charge them for security, right? We provide heavy security throughout this channel.
Right. And what are the big commodities? 5 or 6 commodities that.
So the biggest one is crude oil.
Right.
And second biggest is LNG, then petroleum products. Then we have dry bulk like cement and barite. Then we have right here behind me in this dock right there, the wind blades come here and get shipped in and sent out all over Texas
Oh,
and
wind
other places.
blades.
The wind blades, yeah.
Right.
So
The wind
those are
turbines.
The wind turbine blades, yes.
Right.
Right. For the wind
Of course,
energy.
yeah.
So those are the big ones. So, but the biggest one is, of course, the crude oil.
Right. When I look at your own career, I believe that US probably, I'm not too sure if it is the only country in the world to allow oil digging, oil rigging to be almost held by private companies.
That is correct.
Unlike the PSUs that we have back home in India, uh, ONGC and so on, who are responsible for finding oil and natural gas in India. But they're all the corporations, but they are PSUs.
Right.
So they're public sector undertakings. But here in this part of the country or the large part of the US, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you have always the private companies
Correct.
that do the oil digging.
So you're right. This is the only country where the minerals below the earth in the rocks, minerals such as oil and gas, or it could be any other lithium or whatever, is owned by the landowner, not by the government.
Right.
So when we have to drill a new well on a particular piece of property, we go find out who the mineral owner is. Then we lease the rights from that mineral owner.
Right.
And then we go drill the wells.
There is no royalty or a tax that you have to pay to the government?
Not to the, well, there is. It's always taxes to government. You can't get, we pay about 20 to 25% royalty to the landowner because he owns it. It's whatever deal we cut with them. And then instead of Texas, we pay what they call a severance tax to the state of Texas. And it's 4.6% on oil and 7.5% on gas.
Right. Why I ask you this question is because I believe that on one hand, if you hold the position of the Port Commissioner, you also have had your business interests as well in oil as well.
Correct.
Over the past 40 years or so, when after you graduated in petroleum engineering, you ventured into also oil rigging as well.
Correct.
You did the oil digging at large part of Texas. I believe you held a lot of assets as well.
I did.
Is that right?
So I've had assets in Texas and Louisiana.
What were those companies called?
The very first one I worked for was Magnum Producing. And then I worked for that. Then I left there to start another company called SV Energy. Then I had that still exists. Then I had a SV Resource Partners, which was a partnership between SV Energy and a private equity company out of New York City. We sold that after a couple of years in 2014. And then we partnered up with another gentleman and a high net worth gentleman and created a company called Texagy.
Texagy, like after Texas?
TEX after Texas and EGY after Egypt.
Oh, so the gentleman is from Egypt.
The gentleman is an Egyptian guy and he's a great, wonderful man.
Right.
And so we've been with them for 10 years now. And fortunately, the good Lord has been with us and we've done well throughout
exceedingly
all this.
well.
Yes, we've done well. You have to take risk. And if I have to say anything about me, you have to take risk. Is the adage that no risk, no reward is very true.
Right.
And we have sweated a lot through our risk taking. But with God's grace, we've been very fortunate.
But when I was going through your profile, I also learned that there were stages in your career as well when you were just a businessman, not just Port Commissioner also. As a businessman or as an entrepreneur, you also raised a lot of money from private equity market as well. And the PE money which you raised to the venture capitalists or the investors, that gave you the ability to sort of shore up your revenue. How difficult or easy it is in the United States to start a new business and raise money from PE and also from the banks as well at the same time?
So it all depends on the timing, on your business model, and as to what investors may be looking for. So it's a lot of work. So we made trips to Minneapolis and Chicago and Houston and Dallas and New York City, and met with many private equity guys. And one of them ended up liking what we had to show, and you just need one. So don't ever give up. There's somebody who wants you and your ideas if they make sense, especially if you have skin in the game. So they want to make sure, along with blood, sweat, and tears, you're putting your own dollar where your mouth is.
So how much money were you able to raise?
We raised $30 million the first time.
Right, and were you able to return that money to the investors?
Yes, of the 30 million, I believe we invested 19, and a couple years later we doubled their money. So that was a very, very great venture. And the guy said that if I ever do it again, to call him, he'll be my first, either my first reference or my first investor.
Is he still an investor with you?
No, not they when the 2014-15 happened and when the oil business went down, they decided to not go into energy.
Right,
But he's my number one reference.
But then, of course, you gave it back to them. The money with a lot of profit.
Of course, yes.
The ROI was huge for them.
Yes, it was
Right.
a 2x ROI in
Wow.
in 2 years.
Excellent. So I believe that your assets, you still hold some of them in Louisiana and Texas, both.
Correct. Under Texagy, we bought up to $100 million worth of assets.
Right.
We've sold almost all of them and returned the equity that was invested. But a lot more to go, and we still have some assets that we expect big things out of, starting next month, hopefully. And there's some drilling going on out there, and if that works out, then we probably would 3x or 4x their money.
Right. If I ask you the question on how difficult or easy it is to start the business in oil, owning up oil fields, the assets, or the excavation process, how difficult or easy it was during the 80s and 90s when you began, and now in 2024, 40 years later. What are the big changes that have come?
So it was relatively easy regulatory wise. The regulations have gotten very strict.
Such
as to CO2 emissions, right? Even though they are pretty minimal, the government is trying to do everything they can to reduce from all sides. So that costs money. The more regulations, the less profits, right?
Correct.
Of course, we also want the air to be healthy,
as well, yeah.
just like we want the water. I say we're all environmentalists, right?
Correct.
We want our kids to live healthy lives and us to live healthy lives. So with that, with regulations, with the fact that fossil fuel gets a bad name out there, it's harder to sell that to investors. But those who understand that fossil fuels provide almost 80% of today's energy worldwide, oil, gas, and coal, is not going anywhere in our lifetime. So we continue to move forward, keeping the environment in mind and doing everything right, clean, to find new sources of oil and gas.
Correct. One of the interesting questions which I thought I will ask you, only because of the reason that you have stayed 18 years in Allahabad, since you have talked about the changes of oil process then and now as well, what are the key changes that you discovered in Allahabad, now Prayagraj in UP? And did you get a chance to visit the town as well?
So I went to Allahabad 2 years ago, after I left in 1978. So it's been 44 years after.
Wow.
And I got me a driver and a car and went to my galiyan and my house, and even saw one of my neighbors, mere jitna banda, like my age, who grew up in the gullies with me, knocked on his door and gave him a big hug after 44 years. Of course, he has wife, kids, and grandkids. I saw my best friend in high school. I saw my brother's best friend in high school. So it was a great. And I went to my Kalyani Devi Mandir, where I used to go for puja. I went to the Gurdwara where I grew up eating langars. So it was one of the best trips in my life. Yeah, it really was nice.
But do you think that there were some unpleasant memories as far as the development, crime, or otherwise is concerned in Prayagraj in the 70s or 80s when you were growing up, and now in 2024 when there is a new government under a monk?
So I wouldn't know that. The only thing back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, that we would hear is some small thieves getting into homes at night with oil on their bodies and not getting caught. Actually, our house was broken into one time in the middle of the night. That's all we saw, back in the day. We didn't have TVs or anything, so the news you got either from newspaper or from your neighbors. We never heard of anything worse than that. And this time, I can't tell you. I was only there for 2 days.
But did you have an experience of Sangam as well?
This time, I didn't have time to go. I went to really to see those 4 or 5 friends, and I had 2 days. But definitely Allahabad or Prayagraj, as we call it now, is definitely on my list to go next time I go to India.
Of course. Um, since you have talked a lot about your personal milestones and journey, what more are we going to look in this sport in future? What are the activities that you want to bring in the next years to shore up either the revenue or the development and infrastructure?
So you always have to be ready for things to change because, as they say, change is constant. If the oil export gets stopped by or get reduced by the government, then we have to have some other industries, right?
You think so?
So
There is a possibility
there's
of oil.
always people who want to stop it in Washington D.C.
Hmm.
There's some push here and a push there. So through Infrastructure Reduction Act, as you know, IRA, passed by President Biden a couple of years ago, there's a push to do carbon capture and underground storage. We have leased our acreage to a company if they wanted to do that.
Right.
We also are heavily involved in creating a hydrogen hub in this country, one of 8 or 7 that the USA wants to create, where a lot of hydrogen gets produced,
Right.
either by splitting the hydrogen, the water atom, or through natural gas.
Right.
And so that's our future. And as much as also looking into the possibly looking into the containers.
Right. And I believe that you're also on the panel of as a directorship that you hold in many places. Of course, I also see that you're also on the directorship of many boards. For example, I see that you're on the board of the Foster Angels of South Texas. You're on the board of State Aquarium. You're also on the board member of the Crystal Spawn Health System Foundation, American Heart Association, which works for the benefit of the civil society at large. And then you are also on the board of the temple here, which is the only temple I believe in Corpus Christi, in this port city of border near Mexico and the waters that we have here, the local Hindu temple. How proud you feel today that you're also holding these challenging positions in the Hindu temple, sacred to you, because I saw a lot of idols sitting inside your home as well in the morning when I was with you.
Yeah, Rohan. So I have been very fortunate to be picked to serve the community. Serving the community has always been my forte. I've been one way or another part of the community. And as the community learned more about me, they would invite me to join their boards, and I'm happy to do so. And as you probably have seen, it's hard for me to say no. So I keep joining the boards, and when they have had enough of me, I leave. But Foster Angels of South Texas is one of my favorite ones, in that we serve about 2,300 foster children and provide them with funding beyond what Texas State can provide them to their guardians and aunts and uncles who are raising those foster children.
And I believe that compassion has been part of your personal life for a very long time. I believe you adopted a girl as well many years back.
Yes.
Because
I don't,
you have two
I don't want to
sons.
think about that, but that's correct. We had 2 boys back in year 2000, and we really wanted a girl. So because the world had been so good to me and to us and to my family, Alka and I, my late wife Alka and I, decided to give it a go and see if we can give a little girl home. And I thought I was going to do some good to the world, but a million times more happened to me.
Wow, is she happy to know that you are her foster parents?
She knows from the day one, and she is amazing. She's not my adopted girl. She is my girl. She's my heart and soul.
Right.
She's the best thing ever happened to
Not
me.
many in the world can dare to do what you have done, to adopt a girl when you have none and when you already have 2 sons, and then dare to take a step. It's commendable because girls make your life so much enriching in terms of the sweetness that they bring. I would always pine to have a daughter as well. You can
Yes.
dress them in ribbons, you can dress them with hairpins as well, colorful polka dotted dresses
Right.
as well. So it's I believe that it's one of the brightest spots in your life as well.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, I don't even, my mind doesn't even go there that she is adopted.
Yeah.
She's my girl, and she was from the second we touched her.
Yeah.
She's my girl. She's my.
So I'll wrap up this interview with a quick rapid fire round. It's been pleasure speaking to you so far. Given a choice, Mr. Rajan, to choose between the spot of Sangam and meditate or sit on the corner of this port city of Corpus, Christi, your first choice?
Well, I live here. My livelihood is here. My friends and family are here, so definitely here for sure. But definitely Sangam. I need to go back and visit Sangam and sit there for a few days and take that blessing into my soul.
Right. Enjoying the Texan food here, the Tex-Mex, with the ranch sauce, or enjoying the Netram samosas and snacks in Allahabad Galia with Premchand's poems.
There's no doubt about Allahabad Galiyan.
And of course, since I see the beautiful SUV that you drive here, what gives you more thrill to find and navigate through the long and unwinding stretches of Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh, now that we may have also big highways as well, or driving on these big stretches between Corpus Christi to Houston?
Actually, neither. That's just the part that you have to do. But of course, it's easier to drive in America because the highways are big, and everybody pretty much stays in their lane, and we don't have any other thing. So it's easier, much easier to drive here.
Right.
I'd rather drive in America.
Which was the first most expensive thing that you ever had and that you still possess?
Oh my God, that's a tough question. I have no idea.
Maybe it's the SUV.
The house, the house.
The house.
It's always the house.
And which is the least expensive thing that you still cherish and remains an inseparable part of your life?
Every little thing in my life makes me whole. Every single thing in my life. I probably couldn't do without any of those things. So
Right. Given a choice, would you ever want to go back and settle in Allahabad, or you would retire here only now in the US?
I think I'll retire here. You know, the children are here, their cousins are here, my brothers and sisters are here. So they've all been here 45 years. But India is never far from my mind. You know, my father used to say that Indians abroad are more Indians than Indians in India. So we are definitely Indians in America.
On this note, we thank you so much for joining
Thank you
us
for having me.
on this particular show. We wish you all the best for the stellar career that you have had. It was an enriching experience for me, particularly to understand your career, your milestones, and the success that you bring for our country, India, and for this country, US, as a port commissioner and also successful businessman that you have been. We wish you all the best for the future journey as well, your onward milestones as well. And we hope that you bring the ties between US and India even stronger than they were before.
Right, and to that I would say that we're open for business. I, being an Indian and speaking Hindi and Punjabi and those two languages, if I can bring some honesty and integrity to any business partner in India, that is on top of my agenda. Anybody who needs to reach out, they can reach out to me on my email address, which is rAhuja@pocca.com, and I'll be happy to answer any emails.
Excellent. So that was about it from this city of Corpus Christi in southern state of Texas, here in the United States, as I bring you these tales of feisty Indians who have scaled heights of momentous occasions that they have lived up to themselves and for the two countries. Keep following me, Rohan Dua, on the show of India Abroad.